Hello, everyone. Got a real treat for you today at Lunch with Larry. We have a demonstration coming up on the Garantis Polarion Project Configuration Management plugin, and I hope you find this tool to be as compelling as I do. So look forward to the discussion, and this is my contact information. If you have any questions on the plugin, we can sure get it for you and answer any other questions you might have. So hope you enjoy the demonstration, and we'll talk to you soon.
So our company is based in Europe. We provide services across the world. And as you can see below, we developed some plugins and templates. And every time when we deploy template, we need to compare template to existing projects on the customer side. And we need to find the differences and update those files. It's quite difficult at the moment. If you take SVN checkout, then you need to compare files manually. Problem, we developed the solution, and it means that we already used our solution in practice for our work, and also we have about 10 customers in Europe who also use Config Manager to update the projects.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So this is also applicable to different industries. We work in automotive, aerospace, medical, and so on. And we already tried it in some industries, and everywhere it's the same problem and actually similar solution. Usually the process is slightly different. Somewhere you need to review the changes and approve before you can put them in the project. But in other places they say, we only need to find the differences and update the projects without review. So the problem we already discussed. You have multiple projects, you want to update configurations and how to do it. You can use SVN checkout, or you can use Config Manager because it will do everything on the server without SVN checkout. We will use API functions to read the files, compare the files using Java, and then we will commit also using API functions of Polarion and SVN. We also provide methodology, so how to update configurations. It's the project itself, project called Config Manager. We will look at this in a moment, and then you can ask me questions and answers anytime.
Okay.
So the principle is that you have a reference project and there are some files which are changed, and then you want to compare multiple other projects. You want to detect the changes, view the changes, mark, unmark the files, update the files, and you want to save the updated files, at least list of files as a documentation. So you can do this using Config Manager plugin, and a reference project can be Polarion project, or it can be template. And also the projects can be located on the same server, or they can be located on different servers. So we can take a reference project from development server, and we can take our project A, project B from production server, and we can still compare visually and update the files remotely. Source project, target project, and you can select multiple projects as well. Then on the next page, options, and now you can see options page. You can look at the files, and you can select only files related to the workflows or only to the template test runs. And then on final steps, you will perform commit, you will see the file differences, and then you will get a summary. So everything happens inside a plugin, so inside Polarion, and you can access this page either because you are a global admin, so you go to the administration and you can see the plugin, that's one option, or you can access it from project administration. So local project admin can access it, or you can access it from user space. So you are not even project admin, and you can still use this plugin and maybe you have some restrictions, so you will update only enumerations, for example. So to control who can access the plugin, we created a new user role. And if you add people to this user role, then they can access the plugin. And global admin, he can access it anyway from global administration. So we can control basically who can access and who can perform the updates. If you will have some additional requirements, we can also discuss. To have granularity, we have something called blacklist. So for every project, well, at the moment, for complete server, you can define blacklist, and you can say that some files are not supposed to be updated. So the same actually works other way around. We have a whitelist, so we can add additional files which can be updated. At the moment, actually, whitelist, it's a majority of files, and blacklist, for example, we can put permissions or user roles, and then nobody will be able to update those files. Now, we are working at the moment to have blacklist per project. Then we are coming to the solution what you want to have. We can define for specific project or even for project template blacklist, and then it works like a waterfall. So first we will look at project settings. If there is something blacklisted, then you cannot update it. Then we go one level up. If you update from project template, we will also look in the project template. If there is something blacklisted, we will add it additionally. And then if you define blacklist on kind of global settings, we will also add those files. Ultimately, this shall be solution for what you want to have. And we have also similar requests from other customers. So we can discuss it, and our roadmap is in the next 2-3 months to implement blacklist per project. Now, there is a second part for this answer. When we talk about access to the plugin, it doesn't mean that the person who can see the plugin, he can update the files. It means that when finally the person tries to update the files, it will be his local permissions which will be taken into account if he has really access to update those configuration files in those multiple projects. So it means if we take person A and he has access only to one project, maybe he tries to compare multiple projects because he has read access there. He will be able to see the differences, but when he tries to override the files, the workflows, he will have access for write only for one project, and other projects will fail to update. So it's based on normal Polarion permissions.
Okay.
So this gives another kind of level of controlling. Yeah, so, well, we could go to access management and we can deny access to specific enumerations.
Yeah, no, thank
It might become complicated.
Yeah.
Our blacklist approach, it shall fix your question at the end. Okay. The concept what we try to solve, and well, the solution works exactly for these topics. So if we have project A1 and project 2 as a target, we want to analyze different logical elements of a project configuration. So workflows, work item types, forms, reports, maybe even permissions. And we want to transfer those from one project to another. On the way, we want to compare them, look at the differences, and then at the end, your project 2 becomes the same or similar to project 1, depending if you copied everything or not everything. So that's the main principle. Now, to be clear, technically, we can compare absolutely everything. So this is where this blacklist comes to the game. We usually do not compare the data. So modules, live documents, and work items, the data itself, it's excluded automatically.
Okay.
Because in different projects, they have different
All different.
IDs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't make sense. You will kind of
Yeah.
get
Right there with you.
messed.
Yeah. Exactly.
But if for some reason you have remote server and you have a mirror of a project, then you could update everything theoretically. So let's say you have a production server, you have a project, and you want to update everything to your test server. You could add modules and work items to the whitelist, and then it will compare everything and it will copy everything. But this is technically equivalent to check out and copy the files
And
via
check back
file
in again.
system. Yep.
Okay. Sure. Okay.
Okay. So what we do when we use a plugin, we analyze the differences, we copy some of the differences or everything, and we automatically document. So we document the changes. So the yellow part, this is what we discussed. This is the part below. Now at the top, we have a red color part. This is about the process. So it works independently. You can use Config Manager plugin just as a solution to compare the files, analyze, and copy. Now, the top level, it's implemented using a project. So we supply also project template. It's called Config Manager as well. And it has special work items, change request, and also a work item which we call session. And the session describes which projects you compare, which files you want to update, and you can stop update by going to approval process. So someone will review the changes, approve this work item session, and only when it is approved, then you can update the files. You can also schedule the update. Maybe you want to update it at weekend automatically because those projects are already analyzed. And this work item session, it will be created automatically every time we update the projects. So you will have a history of what you have done.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
The top level red color project, it is extendable, so you can change it. You can have additional fields. It's kind of flexible part for the process.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's more or less all. And now we will go to the demonstration. And you can stop me anytime and ask questions.
Sure.
So right now I'm on the Config Manager page. It's a plugin itself. You can see the 5 steps at the top, and we will start to look at projects, and we will update one project for the beginning, and then we can update multiple projects afterwards. So you can see that I have multiple servers. Servers are defined in configuration settings. We will look at it in the moment. When you connect to the server, you need to have another plugin running on that other server. Authorization happens in a normal way. So you enter your login data, we will get an API token, and we will store it in a vault of this Polarion. So at the moment, I will stay on local server. Now, as a source project, I have a project which is called Demo Safety. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it means it has more and more changes. So it's a sequence of changes. If we apply them to any other project, we will have safety implemented in the other project step by step. So I will choose safety number 1. And you can see now we have something called custom fields for the project. Yeah, so if I click on the filter, I select automatically all projects which are marked as a safety demo template. So you can define multiple fields, and you can define multiple values. So if I will take here the same safety, then you can see that we have a custom. So these are custom fields. One is called Garantis project tag. This is what we use at the moment. And we have something like project group, and you can define your fields by yourself. So we will look at this in a moment, but this is the answer to your question. So you can mark, let me remove the filtering. So you can see that we have some projects marked as ASpace, some are called SPice, test, config manager, test group, and so on. So that's the best solution to have those groups. And you can even have overlapping groups because it's actually custom fields. You can have multiple of them. So we will come to that in a moment. So at the moment, I will not use the filtering because I created a new project. It's called B2, and it's a V model. So I select one single project. So now at the top, we can see that we have source project selected, target project selected, and now we will go to the next step. So now it analyzes the files, XML files, and it provides this logical structure where you can open the structure. And if you are new to Polarion, or if you want to look at, let's say, work items configurations, then you can unselect other groups. You can select only work item configurations, or you can even say that I want only fields, for example. So you unselect everything else. So the session, it can be saved. So if I'm opening a session sidebar, I can save the current session. It will remember the projects, and it will also remember what I want to compare. And then you can open session again as a template, and you can compare the same stuff over and over again in the next months or so. So at the moment, I will say that I want to compare everything. So not only work items, but also documents, plans, reports, and everything else. So now we move to the next step. So this step, it shows that we have 296 files detected. And these are the files. You can still unselect some files if you don't want them. And now I will compare them side by side. So it compares XML files, and it tells me that so in my source project, which is safety, I define some new stuff. So I have a workflow for work item event. I can look at this file. So it's a complete workflow. So it's completely new. Green means that in target, it will be added. Yeah. Then if I look at event custom fields, so for work item event, I define some custom fields. These are the custom fields. It's called location country, location city, and so on. And let's look at work item type. So this is where I define the work items, event and hazard. So they will be added, and the file will be updated, changed. And if I look at test case, I also added a test group. And this test group, it's enumeration, and this enumeration is here. This is the values Wi-Fi and keyboard. So this is some kind of set of changes. I can say that I want to take all of them. And then I say that let's proceed to commit. So this is my last chance to unselect some files. There will be 14 files updated. I have some statistics. So 0 files deleted, 11 inserted, 3 changed. Now, if I click overwrite, it shows me the same files. And now I say commit. So now it uses SVN and Polarion API functions, updates those selected files. And I have now final report. So everything is successfully completed. I have revision number. And now I can look at reports to see what exactly happened. So first we will start with a special report. It's developed and by us, and it's part of this config manager template. So you give a revision and it tells you what happened. So the modified files 3, created 17, which includes folders. So it's
Okay.
files and folders. So instead of 14, we have 17. And now if we look below, then we can see that the fields, we added custom fields, enumerations. So these are created, and then we modified something for software requirement and for work item type and so on. From here, we can jump into the standard Polarion repository browser, and we can look exactly at the history. So this is ultimate source of truth because
Sure.
that's coming from repository browser.
Mhm.
So we can see that the files were added. And when I go back to the config manager final report, we can also jump to the repository browser again, and we can see all files which were updated. So that's, again, ultimate source of truth.
Sure.
So now there is one more element here, which is this session work item. You see it was created automatically. So now if I go to my config manager project, we started from demo 1 safety. So it is in the title, the source project. Then it is a date and type, date and timestamp. And then we see the revision number, and we see the files which were analyzed. But, well, in the next release, we will put only the files which were updated. So there shall be 14 files which were updated.
Okay.
And if we scroll below, we have some technical information. It's a JSON format. So from here, we can extract everything about the update. So actually, we save some files here as HTML report, and it shows the file difference and what was compared and what was updated. So basically, this work item, it's your documentation, and you can have additional fields. You can describe why the change was applied and who was the assignee, and you can keep it for documentation. And as you can see here, we have many of these files already, work items. So we updated the different projects from different sources. And we started, so initially the name was called session. So it's your update session, but we call it now config set or file set.
Okay. Sure.
So this was the basic step when we update from one project to another project. Any questions so far? I'm going to show next from one to multiple. Good. So now we will talk about multiple projects. And before we perform update, we go to the config manager project and we look at it, what exactly is here. So the project is not big at the moment, but it has a quite big potential. So first of all, you have list of your sessions or these config sets. And as I mentioned before, you can use some of them as a template. So let's say you have demo 1 safety, and this is your template. So you can prepare some sets of projects and sets of files, and you can recall it and use it again. So for these, there are some reports. This is a set of sessions or change sets. You can see that some of them can be closed or done. So there will be a workflow like draft, in review, approved, implemented, verified, and closed. Workflow can be flexible. Some connection to the plugin will be established. So there will be option that you cannot commit the change if this request is not approved. The session is not approved, but it will be flexible. You can switch it off or switch it on.
Okay.
So for medical companies, it's quite important that it is approved and reviewed, but you can have it as you wish. You can jump to the config manager from here, so you can kind of restart the session, and then you can continue with update of files. So that's kind of filterable table. That's a similar table. Then there is a concept that you can have a change request, and change request says that you want to update from safety template version 2.1 into multiple projects. But some projects are active and you cannot update this week, for example. So you will update one project at one point, and this will be session to update those projects. And then you will update other projects at another time. And actually, I think here you can see, so projects C3, 4, and 5 updated in one go, and other projects are updated in another go.
Okay.
So now you can see that you can kind of structure your vision or your strategy, how to update the projects. And then you can also control if this really happened. You can use a Kanban, and it can become really like a project management for your updates and control place. So after you performed the update, you can get a session work item. We have seen it before. It is used as a documentation. You can also produce this kind of PDF report where you have a title page. Then it can explain you which files were blacklisted. So let's say you try to update blacklisted file, and then we will say, no, it's not allowed. So the change is allowed or not allowed. We can also explain that which exactly file was updated, and maybe you even give a comment why the file was updated. So this can be evidence, really detailed evidence about every specific update. So it's also optional if you want it. And now we are coming to the project groups and also the custom fields for the project. So this is example where you have template, which is called generic requirement. So generic rec template. From this template, you created multiple projects. So because we have this special field, which is kind of inheritance or parent-child relationship, so it simply remembers the name of template, then we can say that these 3 projects, they are coming from this template.
Nice.
And, and then this specific project, it was updated because of this change request or session work item. So basically, we updated Flying Taxi project from template which was Flying Taxi version 2. And before we updated from Flying Taxi version 1. So every update, it's documented by these work items. So it's like a tree: template, projects, updates. And the same is repeated for other templates. So if you have quality assurance templates, then these are your projects which are created from the template, and these are updates which you have done. And let's look, let me see. This is a similar similar table, but here we are working on filtering and also the way how to edit the fields. So this is what we see here. It's our tags. So this project, so project family, let's say, or templates. These are projects and these are sessions. If I show more, then these are all sessions which were performed for update of some of these projects. So, and here you can see that we took template as well. There will be multiple tables where you can have multiple fields. you can group projects in a different way. You can have a responsible person. You can have description what the project is about, and then this way you can define the groups, and then you go back to config manager, and then you use those groups. And now I will try to update multiple projects. So let me take safety 6, and I will have project B1 and project B2. So you see at the top, I have 2 projects selected. We take changes from demo 6, and we will compare the projects. So at this moment, I could switch to this view, as I explained before, but we will compare everything, compare one to many. So we will see the differences side by side. So now you can see that these files will be deleted. So actually, demo 6, it's like empty project. Well, empty project is like we are going backwards. So now we will delete event. We will delete event custom field. We will add probability impact. So for hazard custom fields, there will be some change in these fields. Classification will be replaced.
Okay, sure. And mitigation as well.
Okay. Yeah, and then here we will remove, so we will lose this test group. So it's kind of reverse change.
Okay.
So now, so you can have here multiple projects. You can scroll them. So we tried with 50 projects. Some companies tried with 100 projects. So it works. It takes maybe 5 minutes to update. So at this moment, let's have a look at some options. So first of all, you can download this report as a HTML. So you can click on this link and you will get a file, and it contains this as a static text. So this file is attached to the session work item, and it is used for documentation. Then we can also kind of switch the view. We can look at also at files which are equal if you want to see all the files, and you can also see how many differences. So this +0 -71, it's how many lines are deleted, and we will also add a hash for differences, so you can understand that it's actually the same difference. So at the moment, you need to click on each of the difference to understand if they are the same or not. But we will add a hash number, and then if hash is the same, then the difference is also the same.
Okay, sure.
So now we also can have statistics, so you can see actually the projects are the same because I did previous updates in the same way. So it will be 9 files deleted, 4 inserted, 7 changed. And now I can continue. I proceed to commit. And then I say overwrite. Well, so this is your last chance. It's all in red color. You can still review the files. It will load them. So this is the list of files. So you overwrite it. If you made a mistake, then you can revert the change, but you will need to use SVN. So you need to check out SVN, and you can revert the change from this revision. So it's not end of the world, but yeah. So here we have 2 commits for the projects, and we also get the session work item, and this session work item, well, if I open it, it will contain information, these attachment files. And I can, from the session work item, I can jump to the reports as well. So if I go to my report, then we will see that multiple projects were updated. So now you see the same file was updated, but for project B1, B2, and the same goes on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is kind of the main functionality. So you can, well, as a summary, you can select servers, projects, look at the difference. You can save the difference. You can review this work item session if you want. Then you perform the update, and you can control the history of updates in the config manager inside work items. So here in these work items.